Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dynasty Happy Hour. I am your host, Doug Eddy, here with James and Tyler. Once again, this week, we are bringing you another fun, information-packed episode. And I just want to let you know, for the people that are watching at home, or the people that are listening, and the millions and millions of people watching at home, thank you. YouTube, drop a like, and subscribe if you want to see our faces every single Sunday at 9-ish Eastern. You'll get a notification if you like as well when we go live. So that's always awesome. And as always, our sponsor this week is Fantasy Points. So make sure you log on to fantasypoints.com. Now, when you do this, use code DHH22 and get 10% off a Fantasy Points subscription. 90% of the subscribers made the playoffs in both 2020 and 2021. So to me, that's a trend. So if you sign up, early bird specials, you use code DHH22, you're more than likely going to get in the playoffs. So congratulations already. So lowest price in the industry. They have an analytic-powered draft tool. There's rookie profiles on there if you like to play DFS. There's a DFS optimizer and so much more. There's podcasts, there's articles, just a ton of stuff. So what we're going to talk about this week, first, we're going to cover some news. We've got some trades, as always, because the NFL is like trade happy. We've got some signings, nothing major going on for signings, but we've got some exciting stuff too. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks and tight ends at the rookie positions, some fun conversation around that. And then we're going to do a little quick, little underdog draft, another sponsor. We're going to do an underdog 3-team draft for us too. So we're going to walk you through that and do that really quick. So we got a lot of stuff to go on to, but first I want to bring in James and Tyler. James, what's new in Jersey?
I mean, you said you come see our faces at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we're staring at Tyler's cartoon.
That's a dig
right
on
now.
his internet.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I hate the fact that he can see us, but we can't see him. But either way, I'm feeling great. It's.
I wish it was the opposite, to be honest with you.
Tyler's just cucking it this week. It's cool.
We are a cooking podcast. Jared Cook, Delvin Cook.
Yeah.
There's
James
Brandon Cooks
coming soon.
Brandon Cooks. Yeah, just that's what we're known for here. We are the
Coxman.
Coxman. This is my first Asian. Wait, what? Let's not get too far off the rails. Tyler, you're at work tonight. What's happening over there? Obviously, not a lot. If you can podcast.
Well, I mean, I'm not. Wink, wink. But anywho,
he's on his lunch break. It's cool.
It's going to be a very quick podcast. We're going to go over some rookies, but at positions that I would say are the least exciting in this draft class. So we're just going to get that out of the way.
Well, wait a second. Some quarterbacks are exciting, and there's like
we'll
2 or 3 tight ends.
We will get there. Don't you worry. There was some news this week, so let's just roll into that. So the big news out of Tampa Bay, Bruce Arians is done, and Todd Bowles is going to take over. Now, there's all sorts of conspiracy theories out there that Tom Brady, he wanted to go to Miami. Tampa Bay is like, nope, you have a contract here. You either play here, you don't play at all. Well, he didn't get along with Bruce Arians, supposedly, because of the offense. Now Bruce Arians isn't the coach anymore. So lots of conspiracy theories. But all that matters, Bruce Arians is done as the head coach. Todd Bowles, who's been running that defense for a few years now, takes over as the head coach. They still have Byron Leftwich as the OC, so I don't see this offense changing much. But there's been whispers that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might run the ball a little bit more, which is interesting. And they did re-sign Giovanni Bernard for what's worth to a 1-year deal. So, playoff Lenny is going to be the number one. You've got Keyshawn Vaughn, who flashed a little bit last year. Ronald Jones is now gone. And Giovanni Bernard. And they'll probably draft a running back, I would assume, at some point here in the draft. I don't know how early they're going to do that. But at some point, they'll probably draft a running back. James, does the Bruce Arians out of Tampa Bay, does that change anything for you when we look at Tampa Bay's offense fantasy-wise?
I think the only thing that really changes, Doug, is the fact that Tom Brady is now officially the offensive coordinator / head coach. He just doesn't have to worry about the defense. Todd Bowles has been doing that for years, just like you said earlier. But no, I think it's a decent move. I think we may see a different kind of offense. They're going to want to run the ball, like you mentioned as well. We heard that in the news this week. Wheels up for Leonard Fournette for at least the next year and a half. We'll see if he can hold on there, because that's what bothers me a little bit, because we saw him start to wear down towards the end of last season.
Yeah, that's why I like Keyshawn Vaughn. If you can get him in the cheap and get him as a throw-in deal. I mean, that's a guy that if Lenny gets hurt, like I don't see Giovanni Bernard being the lead guy there. So as of right now, I mean, the draft could obviously change things. There's plenty of free agent running backs out there too that could get picked up in the event of a Leonard Fournette injury. But we've also heard that Gronk is 50-50 on returning. I think probably Gronk does come back. Where do you think Gronk would be in your season-long rankings? Would you still have him as a top 8 tight end, do you think, if he came back this year with Tom Brady?
I mean, with OJ Howard leaving, I would say yes. For season long, for Dynasty.
Not that Howard did anything, but
yeah, I mean, for Dynasty, it's a 1-year thing. So if you're in the running for the title, well, and a tight end premium, a late second, maybe early third for that push if you really need a tight end. But other than that, I mean, we all know what is happening here with Gronk. And by next year, Brady could be a Dolphin.
I think Gronk was number 3 or 4 in tight end points per game last year. So definitely a piece that, the only other tight end on that roster worth a damn is Cameron Brate. And, he's had some fantasy relevance years ago, and, he's still on the team. He restructured. But if Gronk comes back, I actually like Gronk quite a bit. And, yeah, like you said, if you're going to try and win now, I think a late second, early third in tight end premium is spot on. So nice work there. All right, let's move on to a trade with my New England Patriots. Not that I own the team, but I do root for them. I live nearby. I'm a lifelong fan. And they went intra-division, which doesn't happen very often. Sometimes when it does, it works out. Wes Welker worked out pretty well. Isaiah Ford, not so much. But the Patriots make a deal.
You heard it here. Parker is Wes Welker.
Yes. So the Patriots make a deal. They were looking for an alpha type of wide receiver. On the cheap, Devontae Parker to the Patriots. The Miami Dolphins sent Parker and a 2022 fifth, and they got back a 2022 third round pick in return. Now, the thing I like about this deal is that Parker, it looks like he was running out of opportunities in Miami, right? They go out and sign they trade for Tyreek Hill. They sign Cedric Wilson. We all know that they have Jalen Waddle there. And Mr. Wilson, Albert Wilson's still on the roster. So Parker's kind of, the writing was on the wall for him. Now he goes into a situation where there is no alpha receiver. Kendrick Bourne is probably their best receiver on their roster, along with Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, whatevs. But I think this is a good fit for Parker, and I think it gives Mac Jones that big outside presence that they all wanted N'Keal Harry to be years ago when they drafted him. And this, again, writing on the wall for Parker in Miami. This is writing on the wall for N'Keal Harry in New England. Tyler, what did you think about this move when you first saw it?
I looked on my rosters to see if I had any Devontae Parker shares and kind of cheered. I know that he's going to be 29, so you're not really thinking, oh, this is wide receiver 1, Devontae Parker. Here it comes. No, but it's a great wide receiver for any fantasy team that you have, because who else do they have? I mean, there's no quote unquote alpha, like you were saying, in New England, and he's kind of got that body type and kind of the history of being that guy. If he can stay healthy, I actually think he could post a pretty good season. I feel like his style of play, where he's at in his career, could really help Mac Jones. And who knows, maybe Parker can revitalize his career from when 2-3 years ago he
it was the
had
playoff
a breakout
run in 2019 that he
Yep.
the last, he was a league winner for people that year, and then he got paid. So here's the thing: the cool thing I like about this for the Pats is that when you see receivers out there, Christian Kirk getting $20 million a year, and some of these other receivers, Devontae Parker's cap number is only like 5.5 this year and like 5 3/4 next year.
Bill
So
Belichick.
it's not a terrible contract, and I like the upside of the player. James, any other thoughts on Devontae Parker to the Patriots?
I think it works really well for Mac Jones. Last year we saw him come in as a rookie, take over the offense, and the playbook was pretty simple. We actually saw him throw like 15 times a game, pretty much on average. Not too much anyway. Don't quote me on the numbers. But I think this actually opens up the playbook a little bit for the New England, and we should see Mac Jones actually taking some shots, because he did take shots in college. I'd like to see him take a couple more shots in the NFL.
Yeah, and another, it's another, red zone big body to go along with, having Hunter Henry, and maybe Jonnu Smith makes a leap in year 2 with New England. We'll see. But I like this move all around for both parties. Like I said, it's that rare interdivision trade that we don't see very often. So I thought it was kind of neat, and I liked it for both squads. We did have some free agency signings. Now we're kind of in the second or third stage of free agency. There's still lots of solid names out there. I was watching NFL Network, and the scroll in the bottom, I was like, oh, there's some solid players still out there. We saw Marlon Mack. He was a free agent recently with the Colts, came off the Achilles tear. We all thought he might chew into Jonathan Taylor's work last year. Yeah, that didn't happen. But Marlon Mack signs a deal with the Texans. He's 26 years old. I kind of like this fit because all they have for running backs is Rex Burkhead, who they extended, really. And they don't have anything else going on there. So unless they draft a rookie running back, with, top 3 round draft equity, I think that Marlon Mack could be Houston's starting running back. James, what do you think?
Very soon, and I hope so. I at least the in between the tackles kind of guy. I don't know about the passing situation. I believe David Johnson is still there.
No, I think David Johnson's a free agent.
False. He's free agent. See you later. Bye. All right.
Yeah,
so
I don't think he's
Rex
in the league
Burkhead
anymore. Sad.
And I'm sorry. Who else did they pick up? Daria Gumbawale.
Yep.
That might be your pass catcher.
Yep.
Because he did that for like 2 games in Jacksonville.
Gumbawale.
Yeah, Gumbawale. He's a Dari. A Gumbawale. But no, I like Marlon Mack there. I was hoping that something would happen for him, that he would go to a franchise that he actually gets a second chance. And we've seen now Cam Akers, Deontay Foreman come back from Achilles tears, and
CJ Uzoma.
Hey, hopefully he's going to be nursing that until the spring.
No, he came back. He hurt it himself in the playoffs, but it wasn't his Achilles.
All right. Fair again.
Yes.
Fact check. Anyway.
Live fact checks.
Anyway, I think it looks good. For what we saw from Marlon Mack, we didn't see too much last season, but I think it's a good landing spot. And if they don't make a move during the draft, which we all think they will, it's not a bad thing. And I don't think it's going to be early capital. They wouldn't go all out because they're not ready to win it yet. Why would they waste?
They're going to try to get Bijan next year.
Yeah, I would definitely, because
keep him in
Bijan's
Texas.
Better than a lot of
keep him in
rookies
Texas
in this class.
Yeah. All right. Any thoughts on Marlon Mack, Tyler?
Yeah, I love it. I actually traded for him in a league that you co-own with a friend of mine. I gave up a 24 fourth rounder for him. It is a salary contract league, and I think he's just dumping for roster space and wanting to get a little pick. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if he hits, he hits. If not, it's a 4th. And you know what? I am a big fan of Marlon Mack. I love his style of running. If he has 75% of his explosiveness, he's probably got 70% more than Rex Burkhead.
Very true. But he doesn't have that lunch pail mentality. All right, let's move on to the New Orleans Saints signed another backup quarterback for Jameis Winston. Andy Dalton, the veteran from Cincinnati and Chicago, and he played in Dallas too, right?
Dallas.
Yeah. So he signed a 1-year deal with New Orleans for $6 million.
He gets around.
Yeah, he does. The
Those
redhead
gingers.
thing.
Yeah.
Interesting here because, there's been some of the beat writers have been saying that Taysom Hill might be moved to tight end.
Yeah.
And obviously used as a hybrid running back. So, Taysom Hill signed that probably one of the weirdest deals in NFL history and continues to be. The deal that he signed that's like $18 million a year or something ridiculous. It's crazy. It just shows that the cap
highly incentive built.
Yeah. So Andy Dalton here to back up Jameis. I'm really interested to see what the New Orleans Saints do in the draft. They could use a wide receiver too. I could see them taking one in the first round, or even taking a quarterback for all we know, because Jameis is really only on a 1-year deal. So is Andy Dalton. So these could be the bridge guys for them. So I could see them making a move for a quarterback in this draft possibly. And we'll talk quarterbacks here shortly. I don't think there needs to be anything else said about Andy Dalton. If you've got him in a super flex league, Jameis gets hurt. Cool. Like, he's a flex starter maybe from time to time, but that's about it. The last signing was Tyler's Falcons. Now, this is a player that I've met in real life, and I've been a huge fan of at Florida State. He didn't test real well. He ran slow. But
First person I text about this was you.
But this kid, will catch anything thrown in his vicinity. He's got a massive wingspan. He makes acrobatic catches. He's a preseason DFS darling. And that is Auden Tate, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. He has flown the coop, and now he has landed with the Falcons, who, by the way, probably have a wide open depth chart. Could Auden Tate be a starter, Tyler?
Yeah, honestly, like
let's go.
this is actually kind of interesting to me. People
Same.
are thinking that Zacchaeus is it. I'm sorry. I've watched Zacchaeus play. He is not going to produce like a wide receiver 1 or 2 for this team. There people are saying like, oh, they're going to draft. What if they don't draft one in the first round?
And they just punt.
Honestly, I think if Garrett Wilson is there, I've heard that he is the pick, which would be outstanding. You guys know how much I love Wilson. He's my wide receiver 1. But if they did go like a Pickett or Malik Willis, like the wide receiver could be taken in the second round, kind of like what the Jets did. And you're looking at Auden Tate getting at least 70 targets, which isn't going to be bad. I mean,
He's free in most dynasty leagues.
Oh, agree. Well, imagine
Not anymore.
Kyle Pitts. Imagine
Put in your
Kyle
waivers,
Pitts and
boys.
Auden Tate playing on the field together. Like those are two monsters. And Mariota he's accurate to an extent, but if he just wants to throw it up, I mean, who better to go get it than Auden Tate, who makes crazy catches, but when it's right in the midst, he has his fair share of drops.
So the wide receivers for the Falcons currently are
Frank Darby.
Auden Tate, Frank Darby, Zacchaeus, and Cordarrelle Patterson.
Who's a running back, really.
And Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
So Kyle Pitts is the wide receiver 1. I mean, probably the only one you want in fantasy. Let's get that right.
PFF has shown that they had a tweet out that showed wide receivers / tight ends who won the most on press. And Pitts was 3 overall, which is insane for a rookie. So, yeah, I mean, if this tells me anything, wheels up for Kyle Pitts still.
Oh, absolutely.
To the moon, as the kids say.
Yeah, I think he's going to have
is that the saying?
Like similar to a Darren Waller type season, because he's really the only target there.
He's just going to be vacuuming up targets. We're gonna call him the
Hoover.
We can call him Hoover, or I was thinking like the Dust Buster.
Or we could call him
Dyson?
the Eiffel Tower.
Ooh, we could do that. We could do that. I like that one. All right.
Wait, that's not a vacuum?
No, I don't think so. Before we move on, I did want to give a shout out to our longtime sponsor, Trophy Smack. You can upgrade your fantasy league today by getting a trophy, whether you play hockey, baseball, basketball, soccer. You can even customize for anything you want. Trophy Smack has a trophy for you. You can use code DHH Ring and get a free $60 championship ring with the purchase of a trophy or a belt. They also have stuff for the losers of your league. So those guys that won the toilet bowl, they got you covered as well. Once again, that's code DHH Ring for that free ring at checkout. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the quarterbacks and the tight ends. Tyler, I'm going to let you lead the conversation here on quarterbacks, and then I'll let James lead the conversation on tight ends, because I think it's fair. I'm just going to kind of sit back and chime in and, I'll redirect if need be and do my thing. So, Tyler, what do you got going on with these rookie quarterbacks? What do you want to talk about?
Well, if landing spots that I think could happen, Bucky Brooks came out with a mock draft, I think today or yesterday, that had 0 quarterbacks in the mock, which in my opinion is the worst thing.
That won't happen.
It will never happen, ever. Malik Willis is a top 10 pick, in my opinion. Even if he's not, he's going to the Steelers at like 13 when they trade up. So there's going to be a quarterback. Coral has bumped up. Pickett has shown, he's worth a first-round pick throughout this whole process. After, like, Ritter, James, your boy, has shown he should be back end of the first. He's ready. He's super athletic. But in my opinion, it's one quarterback with the high ceiling, and then the rest are
kind
like
of a logjam.
Wilson. Yeah, like Zach Wilson level type players where it's going to either hit or it's going to miss completely. So in my opinion, it's Malik Willis, quarterback 1. He has serious zip on the ball when I watch tape. But the thing is, like, when you watch Josh Allen, I know people say this. Josh Allen really threw it in there his first 3 years. Like, he was like, watch this. And it's just like, okay, you need to let up. Malik Willis needed to do that. And on his pro day, he showed that he can. He showed that he can take some zip off the ball and get some accuracy.
Some touch.
That's a little less oomph. You know, the one position in fantasy football where
Some
you
nice
don't want too
touch.
much oomph.
Yeah.
Like Doug, you got some soft hands. You got nice touch. Everybody else needs to learn.
Hey, I'm a
this.
former flag football quarterback. I'm all about, you can't just throw it hard every time. We used to play with a guy, his name was Anthony, and he would throw it a bullet every single time, regardless of the route, regardless of what's going on.
5
And
yards.
It created, oh yeah. Ask Josh's fingers, he'll tell you.
3rd and goal from the 2.
You need some touch to lob it over a defender to get it right where it needs to be. It's a vital part of playing the quarterback position.
100%. And level of competition might be a worry, and people are talking about the whole Auburn thing. And how come he had to leave Auburn? Well, you know what? They promised Bo Nix a starting gig. They gave it to him. That's why he left. It's nothing to his talent. He's a very good runner. He looks to throw before taking off, which is great. That's what you want to see. He's strong. He's built like a freaking tree. The guy is built to play quarterback, and it's kind of the same thing what we said about Fields last year. And he's a big guy. He can take hits. We're not too worried about the frame. To me, he's no brainer quarterback one. It's going to take everything in these other quarterbacks' power to get off of the quarterback one spot. And the fact that he'll run for 700 yards. I think he's better than Jalen Hurts right now. And people have Jalen Hurts as a quarterback one. So that's where I'm at with Malik Willis.
Is he your locked and loaded 101 in Superflex?
100%. I don't care what it is. A quarterback in Superflex over any position, 100%. Breece Hall,
close second.
I mean, to me, like, look at last year. Najee was the for sure RB1 in this class. Very similar to Breece Hall. In my opinion, I would still take 3 quarterbacks in last year's class over Najee in a Superflex. And that's with like them showing nothing.
I was going to say, it's interesting. I got Najee in the UDPL at 107 last year. And now I feel I traded into that spot too. Thanks, Travis. And I mean, I gave up my 2022 first and a couple second round picks to get into that spot, but I was happy to get Najee there. So, I think it's just it shows the lackluster QB group is Superflex drafts are going to look a lot different this year than they did last year. I think, like you said, there's going to be Willis at the top, and it's probably going to be Hall and Walker right behind, and Wilson, and before you even see another quarterback pick. That is a possibility. Yeah. Because if there's only going to be 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the first round, draft capital for quarterback is vital when it comes to success rate. I mean, every so often you get a guy like, Russell Wilson, who was a 3rd rounder, Dak Prescott. But those don't happen all that often. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out after the draft. But James, what do you got on your mind for this quarterback class? I know you're a big Ritter guy. He's looked good. There's a lot of rumors of him going in the back of the first round to a team like Tampa Bay that obviously Brady has.
Well, he broke bread with Mike Tomlin right after Malik Willis did. So I think he can go to the Pittsburgh. I mean, I saw the picture today while I was doing some research, and
I'm thinking of them in robes and like actually breaking a giant loaf of bread, like on the Last Supper table. Like, that's just what I got in my head.
Like a crispy baguette.
Velvet on there. They got the velour seats or whatever kind of place they went to.
James being where he's from, I'm guessing he's imagining like an Italian restaurant. Yeah.
Sit down and break bread.
You sit down with my friend Mike Simon, and you're gonna come to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. But no, I think worst case scenario, he winds up going in the back end of the first round in this year NFL draft. Yeah, it could be Detroit. And either way, even if it's Pittsburgh, like, they have Mitch Trubisky there for a reason. The Detroit has Jared Goff there for a reason. Yeah, so there are bridges in place across the league. And I think it's going to be like a Trey Lance situation where he's going to be sitting for a year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Malik Willis depending on spot, really doesn't sit for at least a portion of the season. Like I can't. You
Yeah.
don't go out in this class and expect to have like a Joe Burrow effect where you can pick him up and start him immediately. You are going to have to wait on these guys a little bit. Don't clear your rosters. Leave that taxi slot open because these guys are going to need some time. They are all good prospects, but I mean, Malik Willis, Desmond Ritter, they're both RPO kind of quarterbacks. They have the run option. They both have great arms. I think Malik Willis's arm is a little bit more polished than Desmond Ritter, but Desmond Ritter has more playing experience. He has more.
100%,
He
4 years.
is a team leader. So those are the kind of things that kind of boosted Ritter up in the ranks for me. And of course, the Matt Corral thing with his injury, Corral. And Sam Howell has been sticking around, and Kenny Pickett has grown in value as of late. So I see him going, and I was watching more film on him today as well. I think if there had to be a number 3, he's number 3 for me. Ritter's my number 2. Willis is number 1. And I don't know if landing spot changes that for me. For any of these guys.
Do we think that Corral, because of the injury, and he didn't go to the combine, do we think that he's going to become a value in Superflex drafts?
100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be the value, which is going to be nice. And the thing with Corral is, I think, like he's more system dependent than any of these guys. I think he needs to sit, but he needs like a smart coach. He needs somebody that kind of knows how to use him, because as we saw with Lane Kiffin, he unlocked him. He unlocked what Corral could be. But before that, people were like, he's talented, but he's just not showing what we need. And it wasn't until the new coaching staff came in where he was unlocked. Pickett, 1 year wonder. Is he Burrow? Is he not? That's the question. I mean, Pickett came out of nowhere, had an outstanding season. Who knows what it is? Is the hand size going to be something that we look at?
Outside games, I heard it's a bigger effect.
No quarter. Well, the thing is with Pitt, he played outside games. He had a lot of fumbles, but when it was like
because of his hands, he can't grip.
It was bad weather. When it was bad weather, he still played fine. He played actually quite good in bad weather games. It was just the fumbling whenever he had pressure.
But I mean, if Kenny Pickett wound up in Atlanta, I wouldn't hate that.
That's a great spot.
Yeah,
also,
it's a dome.
I mean, Matt Ryan had trouble playing outdoors as well. And, that was kind of, people didn't really look at it that way because Matt Ryan also played amazing indoors. So for me, my only untouched guy in this class is Carson Strong. I'm not touching him with anything.
Nothing.
I don't see it. When I watched his tape, it was like watching a deer get pounced on, but it was like the Bambi scene. And it was just like, oh God, it's so hard to watch. Whenever he's trying to go down, he tries to keep himself up, but he's straight up. And I don't know what it is, but he just keeps his body straight up and like crouched in like a turtle. And then his knees kind of buckle a little bit. And I'm like, God, this dude's going to get snapped in half. Like his knees.
Fun fact about Carson Strong. He has negative 208 rushing yards.
Yeah.
For his collegiate career.
I think he's a pocket passer, Bob.
How the heck do you do that?
In my
That's
opinion,
all the sacks.
So I was way off Zach Wilson at this time last year. Carson Strong, I am 1,000 times more off. And that is insane for me to say. I don't care how his arm looks. He's just immobile in the pocket. He moves 2 feet left, and that might work in your program that you're doing. In the NFL, you're going to get destroyed. And with how he takes a sack, I noticed is just terrible. He tries to keep up. He doesn't fall. He's a very tall but slender guy. So when he does it, he puts weight on his knees, and you can just see his knees wiggle. And it just really bugged me. I don't know what it was, but man,
it reminded me of like Sam Ellinger from last year's class.
See, I would rather have
or a
Sam
Jacob
Ellinger.
like these guys are statues. Like they could run the Statue of Liberty play great, but you're not going to run that every time.
Mike Vick. These guys look like Mike Vick compared to Carson Strong. Like Ellinger is an actual mobile quarterback. That's what he was kind of known for. He could kind of Tim Tebow his way into success. But yeah,
Didn't
Strong,
happen.
not it. Howell is the interesting case for me.
I
I
like
know
Howell.
he's my quarterback 2A right now.
I have him at
Without
4A,
landing, I
right
love
behind Pickett.
Howell's game. His start, he has like 4 years of starting, 3 years of starting. I think he's got the best deep ball in this class when it comes to touch, arm strength, and everything. It is spot on to Russell Wilson. He airs this thing and it drops perfectly. It's just a teeter totter. You see it
That
go,
touch.
tails up, and just drops. And I love that about him. If he can land in the right system, what if he went to Seattle? What if they're
I would
like,
love
hey,
it. I would love
we
it.
don't, and I get the comps to Baker are there, but they're pretty close. Like he
Only in the
has a
facial
Baker.
hair area. You know, if you
I
notice, they were like younger brother
yeah,
situations.
his leadership qualities are definitely better. I'll give him that. He's definitely more of a team player. Players love him. They love playing for him. And it's just he needs a little more fine tuning with the accuracy in the short areas. But other than that, I mean, the guy can hit a slant like crazy. Look at Diami Brown back when he was on the team. I mean, him and Diami Brown were 9 routes and slants. That's almost all they ran, and Howell hit him perfectly on all of them. So I love Howell. Landing spot will kind of depend on where I put him, but for me, it goes. I'll rank them and then I'll shut up. But for me, it's Willis, Howell, Coral, Pickett, Ritter. But Pickett, Coral, and Ritter are very, very, very close. And
Depending
even
on landing spot's going to change all that, right?
100%, even Howell, he's pretty close. But I think Willis is just in a far tier of his own, just due to athleticism and what he can bring to fantasy.
Yeah. Now, outside of the top 5 or 6, is there any quarterbacks, since you guys have been watching tape and stuff like that, that are kind of like guys that you're like, I like this guy, and if it's in the 3rd round or 4th round even of a super flex draft, there's like your guy that's late at the quarterback position? Has
You
anyone
mean like
stood
an
out to you
Ian
guys?
Book from last season?
Or Kellen Mond?
Yeah, like a Kellen
So,
Mond. I don't think so. Maybe
I got one.
Maybe a Zap from Western Kentucky.
He's okay.
He's all right.
I think for me, it's going to be a late kind of Gardner Minshew style. EJ Perry from Brown University.
Yeah.
He for me, just he's got so much athleticism, and he's just kind of he's shown scouts like, hey, you got to recognize me and look at me. Like his 40 time was great. His combine numbers were awesome. He really can throw the ball. He is a guy that if he's a 5th round, 6th round pick, I mean, maybe use your last pick on him. And if he is a guy who's a Gardner Minshew style player, you can flip him for a 2nd rounder when the timing's right. So for me, that is the only guy. But other than that, I'm staying away from all these guys. Bailey Zappi is
possibly Caleb Ellaby. All right. So from what I got from his tape from Western Michigan, 6'1", 210. His nice over the shoulder pass. He led the conference in passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns in his final season. Pretty accurate. I'm not sure if he could play from under center, but it all depends on the draft capital for these guys. If he gets, say, late 3rd, early 4th round draft capital, he will be on my radar as somebody that I would want to pick up later in dynasty rookie drafts this season.
I've got a name for you that's not really hot in the fantasy streets, but has been talked up in NFL circles as being a potential guy that's drafted way ahead of when you might think he would be, and that's Jack Cohn from Notre Dame. So I'm just saying the NFL circles really likes this kid, and I'm not going to be surprised if he's drafted in the 4th round, 5th round, when we probably have him as an undrafted guy, right? I mean, Tyler, you watch Notre Dame football. He played pretty well for them last year, but apparently in the NFL circles, he's a highly regarded prospect, not a top 5 guy, but don't be surprised if you hear Jack Cohn's name earlier rather
He did
than
have
later.
a pretty good combine. He had a good long ball in the combine. I remember.
Yeah,
seeing
he's
him.
not. Yeah, so supposedly that's the rumor with the NFL. Mike in the chat says odds are 3.5 quarterbacks of the first round, over or under. For me personally, under.
Under. It's gonna be.
I
3.
think it's 3.
Yeah.
And my guess
Under.
is, but the thing is, does Coral sneak in? That's the one that I think is kind of dependent on sneaking in, or it could be Howell. Like Coral and Howell are really wild cards because I think Ritter is either a very like the first pick in the second round, or he's the end of the first.
Mhm.
I think Pickett and Willis are locks. In my opinion, those two are for sure in the
You
first.
think Willis goes to Carolina?
I think Willis will either go to Detroit at 2, or a team will trade up. So I mean, Pittsburgh could trade up. Atlanta could trade up a couple spots. I think Atlanta really likes him. Personally, I think Atlanta likes Pickett due to his ability to be able to start sooner.
Mhm.
But I think he's a top 10 pick, Willis. Pickett, I think he'll be in the top 15. Ritter in the 20s, and Coral could be early second, Howell early second. So it's going to be very interesting. I think it's the most interesting quarterback draft I've seen in a while because there's all
Not
these
as many.
teams signing, and that's the thing. Like there's teams signing like guys like Trubisky, but are we really going to be fooled by Trubisky being the starter, or are we going to be smart and realize, hey, he's just a bridge? That's all he is.
Mhm.
And usually quarterbacks are drafted in the first round. We see him earlier more often than not. I mean, Trey Lance is an example that we didn't, but I think Shanahan's stubbornness kind of showed
Shanahan
us
didn't want him.
how stubborn Shanahan is.
Yeah. So let's move the conversation to the tight end position. It won't be quite as lengthy because this tight end class, I thought it was going to be a deep class with some good athletes. It's been a little disappointing when we talk about the combine, when we talk about some pro days. We've seen some names of some guys, like, for instance, Jalen Windemeyer is kind of fallen down some boards because
Fall
of
to
his 503 40-yard dash. Like 16 offensive linemen ran as fast at the combine, by the way, as that. So that's not great, Bob. But I mean, I think the overall consensus, number one, is Trey McBride. I think he's the real deal, and it'll be interesting to see what his draft capital is. Typically, we've seen, the last handful of years, we saw the first tight end off the board in the second round with, like, Cole Kmet comes to mind. Obviously, Kyle Pitts is different. But Cole Kmet a couple of years ago was the first tight end off the board in the second round. Do we think that Trey McBride is going to have second round draft day capital, or is this tight end group just going to kind of slide a little bit?
I think they're going to slide just a tad. There's no head-on strong prospect. We're not going to see
a lot
any
of tight
them
ends in the NFL right now that are pretty good.
Exactly. And I don't think it's that kind of class where
tag.
they're going to be looking at like, oh, well, we have a standout guy. We got to go up and get him. No, I think there's plenty of tight ends in this class to bolster rosters, and maybe just like the quarterbacks, 5 that are in consideration of even just getting drafted. I don't think past maybe Cole Turner might get drafted at the end, like maybe day 3. Like that's the way I look at it.
Okay.
You mentioned Jalen Weidemeyer. He is my number 1 right now, ahead of Trey McBride and Greg Dulcich. I said it before the combine, or after the combine, rather. I really noticed him. I saw him on film. He looks great. I like him. I think we've mentioned Jelani Woods before from Virginia.
Yeah, it's one of my guys.
That's one of your guys, Doug. Big
freak
6'7",
athlete.
275.
Oh yeah, absolute freak athlete. And the tight end position, if you chase athleticism, it's usually a pretty good recipe for success.
Yeah, and what are my notes on? So I've seen Jalen Weidemeyer comp to Pat Freiermuth. I don't know if I like that comp or not.
Okay.
The one big thing about him is he broke out at age 19. So his first real year, 450 yards, 6 touchdowns, same thing in his sophomore year. Then this past year, he took a little bit of a dip, but he's a great pass catcher and blocker. So he may actually have the fastest route to actually see the field and be productive for fantasy. And that's what I like. I want to pick these guys up
He's
possibly
got to
at
get there
the
first with that 40-yard dash.
Yeah, I mean, is it all about the 40 though? It's not for tight ends. It's not.
Not
It's
really
their
for tight ends. It's
stature.
more
I want to
it's
see
more
them in the
broad
end
jump,
zone.
explosiveness. You want
Yeah.
to see the short
Footwork and
shuttle.
separation. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So I think in the late second, early third to mid third of a tight end super flex, if one of these guys are around, then yeah, I'll take a shot. But I'm not going to go out of my way and in a regular standard dynasty league or even a super flex for that matter and get one of these guys within the first 2 rounds of a rookie draft.
I'm just staying away. Like me personally, I don't even think I'll touch Trey McBride where people will take him. I'd rather have a Cole Kmet. I'd rather have somebody like that than a Trey McBride. I'd rather have an Irv Smith than Trey McBride because Trey
Yeah.
McBride is the new hotness. For me, Jeremy Ruckert's going to be my last rookie pick in the 4th round.
Darius Rucker?
He only wants to be with you. It's crazy.
It's true. I don't know
Maybe
if
he
it's
gets signed by the
Sal.
Dolphins.
I don't know if it's Sal's
The Dolphin
voice
made him
just
cry,
in the
so I don't
back.
know.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't know if it's just Sal's voice in the back of my head telling me Jeremy Ruckert's a stud, how great of a kid he is. I mean, Sal's been on Ruckert since he was like 10. So,
Well, he's
if
family,
you've-
so yeah.
yeah, he is family. So, for me, Jeremy Ruckert is like my tight end 2 right next to Trey McBride. And it's just because of experience. I think the recruiting, his numbers that he had for recruiting, is a 5-star guy. He's a stud recruit. So that matters to me at tight end. Athleticism, I think he's just fine there. He's going to be like a 5th round NFL pick, maybe even a 4th round pick, and he's going to show up. And I think he's going to start earning his spot and be kind of the value of this whole tight end group.
Yeah, I think for me, guys like Ruckert, I've got him ranked a little bit lower than you do, which is fine. We're pretty close. And then Isaiah Likely out of Coastal Carolina, I like quite a bit. He's got the ability to stretch the field. He had 5 career touchdowns of 50+ yards at the tight end position. That doesn't come. That's not super common. So I like him as well. And then we're looking at some names here, and you want to talk about speed, a guy that's built kind of like Delaney Walker in Irv Smith Jr., who I thought kind of wowed me. I didn't know really anything about him going in, was Chigoziem Okonkwo. I don't know if I got that right. All I know is I can pronounce Albert Okwuegbunam, and that's all that matters. So I like him out of Maryland as well. He's my deep flyer in a tight end premium league, like 5th round pick type of player, unless he gets drafted higher than I think he will.
Chigoziem Okonkwo.
Chigoziem Okonkwo. Yes, there he is. So I like him a lot. The fast kid that could play, he's not going to block for anything, but if he's in a
big
tight end
style
offense,
wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's 6'3", so he's small at the tight end position, but he could be that, what did they used to call it with freaking Hernandez? They used to call him the
Y.
No. I'm drawing a blank.
God, what is it?
I know, I'm drawing a blank.
I know.
He's the move tight end.
Move
pick tight end.
Tight end. He
He's the
could
move
play.
tight
He
end.
could play like a fullback style.
Yep.
An
Use
H
him out of the
back.
backfield.
Yeah, an H-back style where.
So he's a really interesting one. I'd love to see what his draft capital ends up being. But he's my kind of late flyer guy, or first like UDFA that I can put on my taxi squad maybe. That's kind of where I'm thinking for him, because I've done you can get
love
tight ends
those
like
cheap
that.
tight ends, man.
Dude, Harrison Bryant, he's gonna hit one of these days. I'm telling
No,
you.
he's not.
this year. This
No,
year
he's
isn't
not.
his year.
Didn't they
I'm
just
sorry,
pick somebody
Njoku.
else up?
No, they got a
No.
joke. They got rid of
Yeah,
Hooper.
Njoku.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you guys, Harrison Bryant, that's the one that you're gonna want to go after. I'm sorry, Doug.
Mhm. No, it's okay. So that's what I got for tight ends. I thought this class was gonna be better, and it's kind of like
We all thought Adam Troutman had a chance too.
It's true. It's true. Any other commentary on the tight end class that's on your mind, Tyler or James?
Stay away until late. That's it.
Fair. Completely fair. Do we want to do this underdog best ball?
Yeah.
We're going to get this going. So,
Yeah.
Tyler, tell us the format here.
You gonna put us on the screen, or are you gonna just look
So,
at our
yeah,
faces
I
hitting
will.
the phone?
I will. The format's just a best ball, and you guys know what? If you guys enjoy this, you guys should sign up for Underdog. Use code DHH. They will match everything up. I know
Mhm.
Doug probably already talked about it. If not, I'm gonna bring it in your ear again. So
Get paid
while I'm pulling this,
$100. Put some
yeah,
$100 in, get $100 back.
if you
That's it.
drop in 100, you get free 100. That is called free money. And you know what? When you're playing with free
For
money,
free.
it's always better.
Mhm.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. Get in there and sign up for that. But yeah, we're gonna do a 3-team best ball. It's kind of just PPR, the format that everybody knows and loves. Yeah, it's. Let me get it pulled up. I know.
We got 20
I'm on.
rounds. All right. So we need 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. That's your starting roster. And then the bench.
All these teams going to be stacked.
12 bench. Oh, yeah, but it goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
And that's what I like about Underdog. Like the clock is 30 seconds. Like we're going to be done with this draft before the end of the show.
As long as Tyler gets
Well,
the screen.
I mean, I would hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll get the screen. Oh, God, these guys.
All right. So I'm jumping in. Should
All
I do
right.
it now?
Go
You can just
for
explain your pick while Tyler struggles. It's fine.
it.
Oh, and I'm first on the clock. Let's go. All right. First and foremost, this is not super flex, so it's Jonathan Taylor. I never get Jonathan Taylor, and I'm gonna draft him, and I'm so happy about it.
Ooh, I don't like having the
Right.
second pick. This stinks.
All right, so
Did it start?
I mean,
Draft
no.
starts in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Doug's got the second pick. I got the third pick. It's gonna be a snake 3-person draft, so all teams are
Snake.
gonna just be
Stacked.
stacked to the
Mhm.
gills.
You're gonna have some oomph.
Like a good oomph.
Yeah, we got the share screen up, so we are good to go.
Yeah, I see
is
it
gr-
there.
This is great podcasting.
Absolutely. Well, if you're watching
I
on
mean,
YouTube,
2,
Yeah, if you're
1.
here, we go.
There we
So,
go. We're off and running. I'm just gonna take Jonathan Taylor.
that was
No,
easy.
no harm, no foul.
I just took Justin Jefferson.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Did I take him?
No, you
I've
did
never
not.
done this before. Hold on.
No, you didn't.
Oh, draft. Okay, I'm learning. I've even used Underdog before. Boop. Justin Jefferson, 102. Let's go.
all right. It's showing me on the. Since I will probably have no shares in Dynasty, if I can pull the tab down
Hmm.
and draft him, I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey. Okay.
Oh.
If
And
I
you're-
get there in time.
Well, he's the best available anyway, so it'll automatically default it.
This is what happens when your internet's struggling.
There he is, Christian McCaffrey. Now you have another pick.
All right. So let me see if I could use my app.
Technology for old guys.
I love experimenting live on a podcast. It's always fun.
All right.
I've won money with
Okay.
Underdog. I'm very happy with that. I won 2 best ball leagues last season.
Nice.
I mean, I'll just go with Cup.
Keep
Nice.
it traditional.
I am going to pair those LSU boys. I'm going to start my draft off with Justin Jefferson
Damn it.
and Jamar Chase. Let's go. This is fun.
All right. So, since Doug did that to me, I'm going with Najee Harris,
Nice.
and then I'm going to back it up with Stephon Diggs.
Interesting.
That
Now
way,
it's
so I have a
back to
nice
me.
wide receiver on there. Nice staple wide receiver.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, we're back to me. Ooh, let's go here.
And I've got 2 big workhorse running backs.
You know what? I'm going to take a workhorse running back here. It's not Dynasty. So I'm going to take the big fella.
The
Derrick
king.
Henry. King Henry. Let's go.
So I'm just going to go in and scoop tight end 1. Travis Kelce. It's not Dynasty.
Is it tight end
And-
premium format? Do we not know that?
No,
it's
but
not.
I mean, it doesn't need to be with his workload he will be getting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go with Old Faithful, Delvin Cook.
Dalvin, nice. I'm going to go with the guy that that kind of shocked the fantasy world a little bit last year and scored a ton of touchdowns. I don't think he's going to do anything different this year. I'm going to pair King Henry with the little man. He's going to jump out of Henry's back pocket. It's Austin Eckler.
Oh, that puts me on the clock, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, I like the Magic Man himself. No, you know what? I think Devontae Adams has a lot left in the tank,
For sure.
being matched up with Derek Carr, I don't mind it one bit. So I'm going to take Devontae Adams there, and then I'm going to follow it up with the Magic Man, Deebo Samuel.
Nice. Very
Wow.
nice.
Okay.
All right. I'm on the clock. I'm going to
He's
go
still
running
there.
back after I took Jefferson and Chase. Melvin Gordon hasn't signed yet. Give me Javonte Williams. Tyler's sad.
Not really,
Okay.
because I get my boo, DeAndre Swift.
Oh, that is his guy. That's his guy.
And then I am going to go with
Kyle Pitts.
compact disc
Oh.
Lamb.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
You know what? I see a lot of value here. I know he's got a quarterback downgrade, but he's the highest paid receiver in the game. Miami's going to use him all over the place. They just traded Parker to free up that outside spot. Give me Tyreek Hill, guys. My wide receiver 3. Woo!
That's pretty good. That's great value, and that just shows which is good. Like,
well, it's a
three-man league.
three-man league. I mean,
in the 6th round, are you kidding, Tyreek?
Crazy.
well, no surprise here. I'm going to stay with the field stretchers, and I'm going to take AJ Brown, and then I'm going to go with Mark Andrews.
Oh, nice.
Mandrews.
And you know what I'm going to do? Just to
Running
break
back,
Tyler's
running back,
little
running
heart,
back.
I'm going to
I know
take
exactly.
the man, the myth, the unicorn himself, Kyle Pitts. In Tyler's face.
Snipe.
So I am going to go risky here. I'm going to go DK Metcalf, and it's all
okay.
based off the trade rumors, hoping
Mm.
that he gets traded to a more
better
reliable
place.
quarterback. And then I will go with quarterback 1. Get him out of the way. Josh Allen.
Nice.
Why not?
I like that. You know, I'm going to take this kid who's, just another Bengal. He's coming off his best season. They beefed up the offensive line. Give me Joe Mixon.
All right, and then
Go Barkley. You have to. You're a Giants fan.
I'm not going Barkley. I'm off of all Giants. Okay, they are in rebuild, and that's why I am going to go with Nick Chubb.
Nice.
From the Cleveland Browns. I think the first 8 games of the season are going to be heavily impacted by him. And then I guess you know what? I'll take T. Higgins. He's right there. I'd rather have T. Higgins than Jalen Waddle, who's still on the board, because I know T. Higgins can get his targets and turn him into touchdowns.
All right,
Wow.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna strengthen the weakest position. I'm gonna go double tight ends. I've already got Kyle Pitts, and I'm gonna add Darren Waller to the fold. Give me
Very
2
nice.
top 5 tight ends. Let's go.
So
Very
you know what?
nice.
Just in the hope that he wrecks, I'm taking Saquon Barkley. Just so if he does win me this league, I can rub it into Chef's face. And that is the ultimate chef's kiss.
Ooh, I like it.
Kiss, kiss.
And then who else did you take? Ooh, DeAndre Hopkins. All right. We lost all the commentary.
Where was the love on Hopkins? Did your mic die? Probably.
Maybe. I'm gonna follow up my Darren Waller. I know we may have some legal trouble here, but he's gonna be the offense. It's Alvin Kamara.
So I do want to say Hopkins is just going to get targets after target.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
all I'll say.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, let me keep it nice and interesting. I don't have a quarterback yet, and I won't take one yet. I'll take Cam Akers,
That's what we call a tease.
and then I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, very nice. How many tight ends can we start in this league, Tyler?
I think 2.
2.
I
It's a
want to say
flex thing.
2.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Looking to see where I want to go here. You know what? I'm going to keep tapping into running back because it's starting to dry up a little bit for me. I'm going to go Antonio Gibson.
That's a great pick. And you know what? You remind me that I should go running back. I'm going to go with David Montgomery. I think he's going to
I like
have a
it.
really good season. And then it's getting tough. But for me, give me the other half of the wide receiver core and Jalen Waddle. He's fallen far enough.
There you go. Yeah, he has fallen a little bit. All
He's
right.
got a new
So we're
haircut
looking
too.
here.
So
I've got a bunch of running backs. I'm seeing some receivers here. It's kind of a log jam. You got Keenan, Deontay, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans. You know what? I'm going to go with the target monster. I'm not afraid of Trubisky. I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson.
Oof,
that was my other choice.
that was
Good,
my guy.
Good pick.
Very nice pick. And since you did that,
Since you've been gone.
I'm going to stick with Terry McLaurin. He's always been my guy. I like him a lot. And then I'm going to take Amari Cooper, believe it or not.
Ooh, I like it.
I want all the wide receiver ones from every team on my team. I don't want a number two.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not in best ball.
I'm going to do another one right in Tyler's face. One of his guys. I don't have him anywhere. Justin Herbert is my QB1. Let's go.
Justin Herbert. Okay, good pick. I'm going to go back into the running back well and take Doug's guy, Aaron Jones.
Nice.
And then I'm just going to cap it off with another running back. This might be a little early, but I really like this guy, Elijah Mitchell.
Okay, I like
Very
that.
nice.
I like that. So I have Justin Herbert. I have Austin Eckler. Guess who I'm drafting next?
Keenan
Allen. Give me the stack, boys. Stacking it up.
Very nicely done.
Stacks on stacks.
Stacks on stacks on stacks. Makes me see here that I am going to take another running back. He's coming back. J.K. Dobbins. I like that.
Nice.
And you know what? I'm going to really piss everybody off. Give me Travis Etienne.
Oh, that's what I was thinking about taking. You turd bucket. I hate you. No, that's a really solid pick. There's definitely upside there. You know, I'm thinking running back too. And you know what? Rookie running backs tend to do pretty good. And I think he's going to get drafted in the first round. So give me Breece Hall. Let's go. First rookie off the board.
Very nice. Late.
First rookie.
Very late.
Off,
15.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to pair running backs. I know it's not super or quarterbacks. I know it's not super flex, but give me the running aspect of Lamar to pair up with the running. You know, I'm just going to combine them. I'll let Underdog know. I'll play both of them. You guys can't. And then I'm going to go with, oh man. Yeah, you're right. The wide receivers kind of looks meh.
It's a mashup.
Well, I mean, if you don't pick in 2 seconds, then you get DJ Moore.
I got DJ Moore. I picked him anyways. The fall was way too. I mean, he's gonna get
super duper solid. I mean, this is a best ball league, right? We don't set lineups, so I'm gonna take this guy that at the tight end position. That's an absolute monster when it comes to best ball because he has pop off weeks. Give me George Kittle as my tight end number 3.
And the cat's in the kittle in the.
I got 3 of the top 5 tight ends, guys. What are you guys even doing out here?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm taking my quarterback to stack up again with T. Higgins. Give me Joe Burrow. Don't know how he fell that far. And then, let me get. I don't know. I'm tilting.
Yes, you are.
These wide receivers suck. Damn. Let me get Elijah Moore.
There you go. All right, he took Elijah Moore. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? You know what? I know this is a boring pick, but the other running backs I'm seeing here on the board, he had his knee, was really hurt last year. I'm going to go back in the well and get Zeke super late.
That's a great pick. I thought about it. I'm going to go in the tight end spot, take one of my favorite tight ends, Dallas Goedert. And then you know what? We're going to go again. Hawk.
Damn it.
Nice. All right, I'm looking at the positions here, and I'm like,
that wasn't fair.
Just picked a running back. You know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk here. If
Are
he
you
comes
taking
back
another
and,
tight end?
nope, and
Do it.
if he
Dry
plays a
him out.
full season, he is going to get a monster load of targets from Jameis Winston. I'm going to go Michael Thomas. Nothing but upside there.
I had thoughts about Michael Thomas, but then I thought about it and I said, nah, you know what? There's probably a more active wide receiver one on the Bears, and I'll take Darnell Mooney here.
Okay. How many rounds we got? 20?
Yeah, Mooney is in line to get so many targets.
So many targets. And you know what? Just for episode's sake, I'm going to take Leonard Fournette.
I like it. All right, I'm going to have to take a second quarterback here.
Tyler, you haven't taken Judy yet.
You know what I'm going to do?
Who's your
I'm going
guy?
to take Dak. I'm going to take Dak Prescott as my QB2 to go with my Zeke Elliott pick.
It's funny you say that, but he was actually my next pick. I had him all ready to go. I'm taking the upside of Judy.
I'm
That was a great call.
taking Patrick. I'm taking Patrick right after.
You have to now.
No, actually, I need another tight end, so I'm not.
And then it's best ball, and you know what? I love the outlook for this guy, Gabe Davis. He's going to be a best ball king.
Oh, Gab Dabs. I like it. You know what? I'm looking at receiver here. I know he tore his ACL, but he's just so GD good. I'm going to take Chris Godwin and not care. Done and done.
All right, and then for the last pick,
I've already awarded myself best draft, by the way.
Well, that's a shame because you know what? I have a feeling that this guy makes it back to relevance, definitely fantasy relevance. He led, what was he, top 3 last year? Pat Freiermuth is still here. I will just take him in the last round of the draft. That gives me my second tight end, Mark Andrews, Pat Freiermuth. Oh, and I actually won the draft or lost it. I lost it.
You got destroyed.
I got destroyed. Doug won.
I
like how they give you ratings like this and then they don't pan out
Yes.
the way you would hope that they would. But you know, we'll see.
Oh yeah, but I'm projected for 4,772 points. Let's go, boys.
My team exposure, the highest is Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland.
My
and
highest
Pittsburgh.
is the Chargers with 3.
That's weird for you, Doug. I mean,
yeah.
But best ball, that's a good strategy. You know, when
Stacks,
you have running backs.
Stacks.
Now, Eckler came out this week and turned around and said, yeah, he's all on board for having less reps because he knows he's going to go out there and
he's
catch the
catch
ball.
100 balls.
Yeah, so if he catches 100 balls, you know, he's like J.D. McKissick plus because he does
Herbert
get some
to Eckler,
carries.
points every time.
Yeah.
somebody said, "What's your thoughts on Barkley getting traded to the Bills?"
Make it happen.
I heard
Make
the
him
Bills
ha-
might draft Brees.
I think he deserves a good franchise. He's a
Man.
heck of a talent.
If he
But
goes
it's
to the
just-
Bills, oof.
I just don't think it happens unless they get the Giants are probably wanting to rake in some heavy picks for him, and I don't think he has
I heard a fourth.
healthy standpoint to do it. He's constantly gotten injured the past 2 years.
Yeah,
I
I
heard
heard-
as
I
good
heard-
as he is, I just don't know if he makes it back to the top of the leaderboard.
I heard they're wanting a fourth, and if that was the case, he would already be off the team.
Yeah,
so they
that's
they
BS.
definitely want a day 2 pick at least. I think a third, maybe even a second for him. He also said no Rashad Penny. Yeah, it's a 3-team draft with 20 rounds. Penny was probably getting closer to being picked,
Sure.
but yeah, there are so many.
I mean, Josh
so
Jacobs
many
didn't even get picked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's only so
But
many
yeah,
players you can take.
It's 60 points.
That's a fun exercise to do. I just did a rookies and sophomore one before we jumped on the pod, and once again realized there's like 4 rookies I trust to do anything this year, and then the rest are all sophomores. So
Yeah.
it's a very fun exercise to do, and it ends after the NFL draft. So right when the draft starts, that is done on Underdog. So go in and do that. Once again, use code DHH, and they'll match your money.
Absolutely. So
And watch our Twitter accounts as well, because we will definitely be playing and sharing, inviting people in. Follow us on Twitter.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap us up this week on the Dynasty Happy Hour. Once again, like and subscribe on YouTube. We're screen sharing. We're learning as we go. It's a fun exercise. Make sure you check out fantasypoints.com. Make sure you go on trophysmack.com. Use code DHHRing. And, of course, Underdog. Use code DHH. They'll match up to $100 of your first deposit. So that's going to do it this week. For Doug, Tyler, and James, I'm off next week, but Tyler and James will be back with a special guest. and it's going to be awesome. So make sure you tune in, like, subscribe, leave a review on iTunes, do all the things for us. Everything is greatly appreciated. We appreciate you, and we're glad to be here every single week. We'll see you next time on the Dynasty Happy Hour.